We getting there?
We're there.
We're there. Yay. Oh, well, I'm at 30 seconds now. Okay, this is doing good. We're doing good here. It's not like the podcast where, it gives us a 5-second delay.
Random amount, yeah.
So, all right, here we are in 2024. I spent most of my morning like updating the events calendar so that now it says 2024 instead of 2023. Oops, I didn't update the link. But I do have the 2024 roadmap going. And so made some corrections on it. Added a ton of links because we got really good at recording and updating our annual sessions last year. So if you want to see a recorded session, you can now, which is really cool.
Cool.
So anyways, how was your holiday, Skip?
It was all good. All good. Ready to get going. This is I think going to be a very exciting year for a lot of us.
Yes.
I do want to put this in here early on. Starting off the new year with a plan is really, really good. And we talk about that a lot. And I have been working with a lot of members over the last few months. And I know some of you, this is week 1 of January and you're running your plan today. I mean, even though it's still a holiday week, there's still kids are out of school, things are still sketchy. You've got the plan in place and you're running it. And I want to congratulate those of you that are on that, and encourage you to take a step back, enjoy that satisfaction of, hey, we got a plan, we're running it, and just know that you're doing better than many of your competitors. So good job there, but don't let off the gas. As you run your plans out the next few weeks, pay close attention. I mean, what's working, what's not working. The cool part about this is you are going to be able to enter in a revision cycle just about the time that your competitors are starting with, their first phase, those that are just catching up. So you're going to be getting even better when many of them out there are just still trying to start. So good job, but don't let up. You've got a great thing going. Let's go ahead and ride that momentum.
Yeah, that's a good tip there. Like people tend to like, okay, this is January 4th, right? And I'm putting in the comments here our annual roadmap we have. Like I run this roadmap, but this is like the 4th or 5th year we've run this roadmap. And it's every week of the year is planned out with a topic that we discuss that keeps us on track. And when you think like, okay, well, it's the first week of January. Well, it's the second week of January. It's kind of a loss. You're starting behind.
You are. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're like, oh, I'll kind of, get back into the swing of things. And then all of a sudden March, April comes along. And I'll go, oh, crap, I'm behind. I need to get going, because you get stuck in operations. A lot of you wear multiple hats. And so having those multiple hats distracts you from working on your business or getting traction moving forward. So you're going to have the same year you had last year, which maybe is good. But what you want to do is you want to move forward. You want to be better. And every year is unique. Every year comes with unique challenges. If we started 2023 with a threat of a recession on the horizon, everybody was tightening up. Yeah. Everybody was restricting spending. They're just apprehensive, whether they consciously did it or not. They were trying to buckle down for a very poor 3rd and 4th quarter, which didn't happen. So now we're readjusting. Yep. And so what's 2024 look like? It's an election year in the United States. The United States is one of the biggest economies in the world. What does that mean for everyone? Well, it means that we're actually going to have a burst year for spending.
Yeah.
Traditionally, election years are filled with a lot of people purchasing. It's a new, that's why I titled today's topic, A New Hope. There's new people coming into offices. There's new people moving around. Administration changes. People are trying to take advantage of the stable economy. There's all this stuff going on. And so if you look historically, whenever it's an election year, we see a lot of people buying and increasing spend. I mean, maybe it's because they don't know what's going to happen next year. I don't know. I'm not really an in-depth economist, but you should be aware of these things in your year and plan your strategy around that.
Well,
If you knew there was going to
yeah.
be a recession last year, you would change your spending. Go ahead.
And that what you've just talked about, Adam, is great conversation points for your meetings that you need to be having right now.
Yep.
You know, this week and next week, you should really be kicking things off and open them up with an open-ended question to your clients around those topics. Hey, you know, last year closed out, you know, they're probably closing out their books. A lot of people haven't finished it, but they kind of know where things are going to close out at. And so, hey, you know, we didn't have the recession like we thought last year. You know, what do you think that's going to do to your business this year? What do you think, you know, the election year is going to look like? And you don't have to have the answers to this. And nobody does. But what we want to do is get this discussion on the table. We want to start working with the details, because whatever they're going to talk about, they're going to say, hey, I need to get this finished. You know, maybe they're worried about, you know, something, and they're like, I want this project finished before such and such date. You know, well, now you know, and knowing it now versus 2 weeks before they're trying to close it all out because they didn't tell you their concerns is going to be really helping you out right now. So great conversations. Again, you don't have to have the answers to these. You just have to bring them up and talk.
Yeah. And that's why I have in the QBR persona, a lot of you who look at our persona there, it has the business confidence index. Like, talk about what the year is doing. Talk about where we've been and where we're going. And that's going to change your narrative. That's going to help your clients. So I have point number 2 here is change your fiscal narrative to help your clients. And the narrative is, you're not talking about asset management. You're not talking about, you know, what's the IT budget for this quarter. You're talking about, okay, where are we at overall as a bunch of businesses, business to business? Where are we? Where are we going? Okay, now how can I help you succeed this year? Because if you're succeeding, I'm succeeding. And so that financial narrative is a game changer when it comes to talking to your clients about what really matters for technology. Do they really need the latest and greatest firewall? Do they really need that state-of-the-art, you know, antivirus system that you just got at IT Nation last year? What do they actually need that's going to help them in their business? If you had to if you're running their company and you had to prioritize purchasing to help their company be successful, what would you recommend to them in that context? Don't recommend things that'll make you rich. Make recommendations of things that'll help them be rich.
Yep.
And that's how you change your financial narrative, because the channel has trained you to resell without context of what it's going to do for the client.
Yeah. That's right. Well, and, you know, trying to be as practical as I can, you know, as you start off these meetings, we've got that little spot in our tool up here where we identify a company goal. All right. And, you know, it used to be a long time ago, a lot of MSPs would use this for their goals, what they wanted to do. Hey, I want to upgrade their firewall. I want to, you know, move from 10 meg shared switches to, you know, switch or hubs to, you know, 100, whatever, you know, but don't use it that way. All right. Put in here what the client's goal is and reset expectations. Maybe you did populate that year. Sit down with them and go, hey, this is what we had as your number 1 goal last year. Has that changed? What can we update? What can we help you with to get you to where you want to be this year? And that's going to put you in a really good spot where you're, again, more of that consultative role than the technical role. Some of your clients, they may be in the, hey, let's get 2024 started mode. They're still thinking about what they want to do this year. When you start asking them questions about that, it allows you to get in on the ground floor of that discussion.
Yep.
As you talk to them, you become part of building their goal for this year. Now, I talk about this all the time. You're really moving yourself out of the vendor role into a partner role. And there's way more margin. There's way more security in a partner role than a vendor role. And
we talked about that at the end of last year, that this year is going to be more service focused. People aren't going to be doing as much asset purchasing, and we've been moving away from that for a while. If you look at all the narratives between with coaching and consulting out there, everybody's talking about how assets are largely dying off. Like everything is managed services, everything's hosted. You're not going to sell a lot of licenses anymore. Even then, the margins are so skinny. Just give up on that. You instead need to find a way to push the narrative on how do we get more successful with delivering things for our clients. So that's going in and asking those questions that Skip is talking about. What are you guys planning to do in 2024? Are you a dog kennel? You're going to try to open up 16 more kennels, or what is it you're going to do? Hey, did you know that there's these new cameras that you can push out? I always use it as my example because dog kennels, like, what do they do with technology?
Yeah,
you can do a lot of things that can help them get to that level. If they're a daycare, maybe you have a better time card system you can help them with. If they're a doctor's office, I was just at a restaurant and they had these portable rentable kiosks for games. Maybe doctor's offices need to start doing that for kids so that when they're sitting in the waiting room, they're not so squirrely. These little things you get to bring to the table because you're a technology professional and you know what their goal is. And because you know what their goal is, you've got these 10,000 solutions in your head that you can say, oh, that one's really cool. I know that they should be concerned about security, but if they do that, they're probably going to have a much more successful year. The client doesn't know these things. You do. And that's where you come in these January meetings, is that you're thinking about your year. Like, I've got my roadmap here. I know for a fact, I'm looking at my roadmap right now. And I know that next week, we're going to talk about assessing, recommending, budgeting, and road mapping, how to map out a calendar. We do that the second week of January every year. And so right off the bat, get the roadmap going. That's why we have playbooks. That's why Skip helps you with your playbooks during onboarding. Is that it's that important because you are busy and you need to complete that narrative.
And I will say the playbooks, I'm feeling pretty good about our spot right now. We're an EOS shop, so we got metrics we're going over every week. And, it was the first, we didn't actually even meet fully. I mean, it was kind of a short meeting, but the very first meeting of this year, I had metrics to put into my scorecard out there because we put all this together and I'm running my plan. Literally day one, we have something to work with. So that's just a really good spot. I mean, no plan is perfect and we're going to be making changes to that, but I'm ahead of the curve. I feel like, and certainly in case of some other situations. And when I go to do my revisions, like what I was talking about earlier, that might've been the spot where we would normally launch, but I'm going to be in version 2 of that. That's so much better place to be. So if you're close, go ahead and get it done. Make it a priority. Don't put it off any longer.
Yeah. I can't stress enough how important the road mapping for your year is. If you need to go through and copy hours, I always recommend, if you want to copy hours and modify it to fit your business. What should you be doing the first week of February this year? Break fix? Like, no, you should be able to think and have somewhere you can go as an authority to say, here is what we're going to do. Like, I have week 3 of February as new release overview because the last 2 years we did a new release in February. What am I going to do this year? Actually, I don't know. I haven't found a topic to fit into week 3 of February. So sometimes I'll just remove that and say open. And so you have an open week. That's okay. Have an open week where you can slot something in last minute. But have this, like, I should have this done by the end of February. I should have this done by mid-March. And that way you don't find yourself in June this year panicking because you're so far behind. And so it does add a little anxiety because right now I'm thinking about, I have expenses in June. How am I going to pay for those? Where's the money going to come from? What cost center am I going to use? And I'm thinking about that in January. If you aren't at that level, you need to start with something simple. Start with a quarterly breakdown. I will have this done each quarter. If you can't do a quarter, say I will have this by the end of the year, and my checkpoint is here and here. And every year, make it a little bit better. You should get down to weekly. Here's what we're doing. I can tell you, like, you get to the larger organizations and they've got days mapped out. They got hours mapped out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just that's maturity. Getting to the point where you know how your year is going to go, how you're going to treat people. When you bring on a client, knowing the process they're going to go through for onboarding and through their full client life cycle. What does it look like and how can you be a part of it? Yeah. So it all comes down to this January is where you kick off that new feeling. And then you keep doing it throughout the year.
And I will say, make some notes along the way here. So if you're sitting here at this January and you're thinking about what went well or didn't go well last January when you started a plan, you're going to remember the few things that were just extraordinarily good and a few of the things that were just extraordinarily bad. All right. And everything in between just becomes a blur. But there's a lot of value in some of those blurrier points. And so now's a great time as you run some of these plays. If you get involved in some of these engagements, step out and make a note somewhere. Hey, this was going really well. That was awkward. You know, we kind of stumbled when we hit up that point. And here in just a little while, you'll have the opportunity to come back, review that. Hey, maybe that's a play we want to change up a little bit, or maybe we're going to pull that play all together. Yep. You know, and we're going to put something else in there. But if you don't have some notes on that, then you're going to end up just going with your gut feeling on the most extreme of the most current events. And that's not going to give you the best data that you want to operate on. So make a few notes along the way and be willing to make changes. That's one of the great things about us and the Agile Shop, you know, that we try to run is we'll try it. If it doesn't work, we'll try something else. But we're going to be very intentional about what we're doing and why we're changing it.
Yep. And to just kind of wrap up here, 2024 is going to be an interesting year. Take advantage of these kinds of years. You shouldn't be saying this is just going to be another year. No, you should be taking advantage of the uniqueness of our culture during this year. Mm-hmm. Whether you're in the UK or in Australia or wherever you are, you need to take advantage of this year. You need to change your narrative so when you're talking to your clients that you're on board with them. They see you as a partner. Hey, we're looking at this year as a really big year for ourselves. What are you guys doing? Oh, well, we don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't know that the economy gets a little bump every election year. Okay, in that case, let's take advantage of that. You know, let's get some of those things, those services that you've wanted for a while in. Let's get some of those PCs replaced, whatever it is. Maybe it's a little thing. Maybe it's a big thing. But let's change that narrative so that you're helping your clients achieve their goals. And then you're going to start yourself on a different trajectory. And then finally, use a roadmap. Create your own roadmap. Use our roadmap. Figure this out. Get some kind of plan you can follow. Everybody starts off the year. It's like people go to the gym. Like I was at the gym yesterday or 2 days ago, and I couldn't get into the sauna because there were so many people there. Like, I go to the gym every week, and there was like, why are there so many people? I'm like, oh yeah, it's early January. Everybody's got this big plan that they're going to work out the whole year, but that's the limit of their plan. I'm going to work out more.
Right.
They don't set weekly and monthly and quarterly goals. I go in every week because I have an accountability partner and I have health goals that I'm trying to reach. And so I consistently meet and go to the gym throughout the year because of this.
Yeah.
And it helps. If I just said, hey, I'm going to start working out this year and I start in January, guess what happens about February, March? I get distracted with my everyday life and my habit does not change. Create a roadmap. Create a roadmap that's going to help you change your narrative with your clients. Create a roadmap that's going to take advantage of this economy. And you will have a fantastic year.
There you go.
Anything else, Skip?
That's it. Sounds good.
Woo, 2024. I am definitely looking forward to this.
I am too.
It's going to be a ride. All right. We'll see you all later.
All right. See you.